Shalom Akim, Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Kadash, the honors and salutations to elders and apostles, brothers, Mr. Well, and the Akim try to focus on the earth, Shalawams, and greetings, from Nasha DC camp. Short lesson, hopeful elect, Abaratiza, make this as brief as possible. Yeah, so you know how the elites always have to do something, because they understand that their power has to be consolidated. Now they have to move against the food supply. And when you check out the channel for Ice Age Farmer, it's an excellent channel, man. He tells you about what the farmers have to deal with, and the trends that this big agribusiness, are moving with, to consolidate control. Let me say consolidate power. All right, they want to have control over the world's food supply, and they are pushing farmers to the brink of extinction. All right, and it's all part of prophecy, because the famine has to come, and that's the reason why when you read the book of Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 5, it tells you, "Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." And that's Esau for you. Okay, that's Esau's way of operation, man. And when you read the Revelation, the 6th chapter tells you about the horseman, the pale horse. You have the red horse, and then you also have the black horse, So that's exactly the time we're moving into, times of great upheaval upon the face of the earth. Okay, and then verse 6 says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." Yep, so that's the time we're moving into. Okay, and it's gonna get ugly and messy. All right, because when folks can no longer eat, they're gonna be turning into cannibals. They're gonna be more violent insurrections. All right, because what you thought was a sideshow at the Capitol and these other states, days and months and years ago, it's gonna be nothing compared to what these hungry zombies are gonna do. So all those folks that had food stored up, they're gonna be approached, for their generous supplies. I'm not gonna say politely. They're gonna be greeted, with some excitement. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer broadcast, and welcome to what very well may be the last video that makes it onto YouTube, given that I've already been suspended from Twitter today, so I seem to, along with the rest of the critically thinking world out there, have been targeted by the big tech establishment to silence. But I want to be very clear, this isn't an attack on free speech, this isn't left versus right shenanigans. This is warfare against humanity. And just as during conventional warfare, when you would seek to take out an enemy's communications and then their supply lines, so too should we expect that that is going to happen now, as big tech, as just one prong of this big multinational, globalist, communist, whatever you want to call them is fine with me, but just as big tech is the part of that combine that is taking out our ability to exchange information and keep in touch with our network.
Yeah, and that's one thing, the Elder Malcolm from the Chicago camp, explained beautifully. Esau doesn't want this truth to come out, but it's still gonna come out nonetheless. And and when you watch that video, Planet Lockdown, it shows you how the woman, what's her name, Catherine Austin Fitz, she explained how those moves by the elites are being machinated, or let me just say operated, to look independently, but they're working in collusion, and they have to maintain a veneer, or let me say an appearance of independence. But what they're doing is working together to enslave mankind. And their goal is basically to get rid of the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, man. So you have the so-called financial side, then you got the so-called educational side, then you have the so-called, nutrition, food, and all that stuff, transportation. So they're basically moving with one mind, and that's what they want to do, to enslave the Israelites and to so-called get the birthright back, man. And the Lord about Shema Shah has already, you know, let them go as far as they can. All they have to do is just get a few more steps in, and that's about it. But it's all gonna be, it's gonna end up being a failure, because just like the Apostle Ramlad always talk about, the Lord's gonna throw a monkey wrench in their plan. All right. So I'll play the video some more.
So too is big food and these multinational food and feed companies going to start conducting siege warfare to take out our supply chain. It's already begun this year, especially with the pandemic, but right now it's going into hyperdrive. And while I've talked about that before, I'll briefly explore a little bit of that. You can, of course, now find me on gab.com/iceagefarmer. I had a Parler, and if they make it back up after Amazon killed them off, I'll see you there too. There's a Telegram group, t.me/iceagefarmer is how you can subscribe to my updates, or there's a chat group off of that, which is iceagefarmer.com/telegram chat, which has exploded today.
Oh, that's why Esau has to shut down the internet, man. Shut it down and basically use it for the, only the elites and the military and their so-called so-called ministry of tyranny have access to it. Okay, that's exactly what they want to do. And those are going to have access to it need to have a chip, and the men of the Lord are not going to be part of that, no matter how hard the elites try. Okay, so Book of Job, chapter 5, tells you, how the Lord is going to preserve His elect in these last days. So Job chapter 5 verse 20, in famine He shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. So there's nothing these elites can do to overturn what the Lord has already set in place. And they're upset, they're angry. That's why they always want to watch what the apostles and the brothers of Great Millstone have to say. All right, and they are upset, man. Upset. They're angry to the bone. Yeah, so they wish they were us. they wish they were Israelites. That's one thing. You realize at the end of the day that it's a blessing to be an Israelite and to have these ups and downs in your life, and then you understand why it's taking place. It's not for our destruction. It's for our chastisement, to prepare us for the dark days that's coming, and our deliverance will be manifested by the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai.
Now that I'm off Twitter, so maybe we'll see you there. But the Gilded group is still, we were censored off Discord, so the Gilded group is still running. That's iceagefarmer.com/gilded, although they make no free speech guarantees, so it's kind of here or there. And then again, iceagefarmer.com is my server where you can find this broadcast, and I'll be posting updates there. I know it's inconvenient to go to a bunch of different websites to get your news, but that's where we are now. Big Tech is taking away their tools, and so that is the cost of trying to stay up to date and get information through one of the densest fog of wars I think we've ever seen.
Hang on. Hang on.
And that's Esau for you. War. Information warfare. If he doesn't attack you, physically, he's going to have to attack you every other way he can. All right. So as you go through his, this channel's lesson, Ice Age Farmer, his uploaded messages, it tells you how Try to, kill off animals, man. Chickens and pigeons and everything else. So the more you see what they're trying to do, the more you understand that prophecy is taking place. So the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 21 says, "Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh." All right. So your boldness in Amashaki Awashai is going to be on steroids, man. It's going to be exhibited in these last days as something that can never be overthrown or tamed. All right. And then verse 22 says, "At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth." So it doesn't matter if you're faced, with, if you're faced with all these folks with weapons and ammunition and helicopters and tanks. The Lord is going to give you that confidence, to be, stable in Him. All right, because this is not a carnal battle. This is spiritual. Okay, so as long as you're spiritual and you stand in the name of Amashaki, nothing can shake your faith. They can attack you physically, but spiritually, they can't get there. And that's exactly what the elites want to do. They want to get to you spiritually. So that's why the Lord is beautiful, man. The Lord has already set up that fence that the elites cannot cross over, which is the word of the Lord. Okay, and then when you read the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 14. Actually, let me start from verse 13. It tells you, "For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, we hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel." So it's that clear. Okay, so always remember, faith boosters, man, in the scriptures. The Lord has already made His promise. He had sworn by His name that is going to keep you safe in these last days. Your faith in Him is going to remain steadfast. So don't worry about your food, shelter, and clothing. Your faith is much more precious than all of those. And then you read the book of Psalms, chapter 37, right, verses 18 and 19. It tells you that the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. Yeah, so what else can the elite do? All right, the Lord has already stated what you're going to inherit, and it's going to be everlasting. So what is there to worry about? All you have to do is pray that the Lord maintains your faith, all right, maintains your integrity, all right, as you go through this narrow passage. And then verse 19 says, "They shall not be ashamed in the evil time." Remember that. You're not going to be ashamed in the evil time, all right? The boldness of your faith is going to be evident, all right? Because it's not something based on the doctrines of men. It's something based on the doctrine of the one who created the heavens and the earth. All right. "And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied." And the elect are already being taken care of by the Lord. Okay. And the Lord is not going to lose His servants. All right. Because they've already been accounted for. Okay. So it doesn't matter if Esau tries to kill some of them or kill all of them. The Lord has already, planned their deliverance. Okay. So, that's Body Hakim. You just have to understand that there's nothing this elite can do to change what the Lord has set in motion. All right, then let's see. He says, it says Bill Gates, America's top owner of farmland. Yeah, and then it says Bill Gates in control of food. So now, telling folks you got to get a vaccine and going into the realm of controlling farmland and food supply and all that stuff. So It's beautiful. You just have to understand that Lord Hamashiach Yahushai, it's letting you see how desperate these people are, man. The greed and the evil of their soul will not let them rest. All right. Scripture talks about they can't get no sleep unless they do iniquity, and that's evident. And that's the reason why Ice Age Farmers Twitter account got shut down, because this elite are getting exposed. That power of secrecy is no longer available for them anymore. So now they have to go into desperation mode. In other words, war mode. So that's the point there, Akim. I hope you've been edified and pray Mashiach Yahweh Shai continue to bless you and give you that boldness to stand in these last days. Shalom.